The syllabus says you have to write a paper using the Turabian format. What is Turabian, and does it matter which style you use to format your research paper? Southern California Seminary has chosen Kate Turabian's A Manual for Writers as its style manual for the Bible and theology programs because of its emphasis on the author and the text, and because the style is the one usually adopted by seminaries. This presentation is part one of 2 videos about the Turabian Style Manual. This video will introduce the Turabian Manual and its abridgment, the SCS Turabian Guide for Student Papers. We'll show you what a Turabian formatted paper looks like, and introduce the SES Turabian Paper Template. The second video will describe the creation of the bibliography and footnotes, and demonstrate how they are added to your paper using the template. The reason why academic institutions require their students to use one style or another for writing papers and citing sources is to make your life easier. Style manuals provide a consistency for writers. You don't have to guess about what font size, margin size, spacing, heading style, or the accepted abbreviations to use for words. It also provides answers to challenging grammatical questions. For instance, when do you use a semicolon between clauses? It provides guidance on how and when to cite a source. A properly formatted paper has visual impact and demonstrates professionalism. Style manuals are accepted by the academic community and meet the conventions of scholarly writing. If you want your writing to be taken seriously, using an accepted style is considered the norm. And finally, using a style manual makes your paper easier to read because a consistent look to your paper reduces confusion. Unlike most of the textbooks that you will read in seminary, Turabian is a how-to manual. Once you have a general idea of its content, you will only reference it when you have a specific question about how to format something. Part 1, Research and Writing, is an abridgment of the Craft of Research by Booth, Colomb, Williams, and everyone else, and is the course text for graduate research and writing. While the abridgment is useful, it lacks the illustrations and examples designed to help you understand the textbook's content. Part 2, Source Citation, is the meat of the manual. I suggest that you read chapters 15 and 16 carefully and skim chapter 17. Chapter 15 discusses why we cite our research. Chapter 16 is useful because it shows you the general forms of citations using the notes bibliography style, which is also called the humanities style, while Chapter 17 contains examples of specific citations. You can skip chapters 18 and 19, which cover the author date style. It looks similar to APA, but is not used at SES. Chapter 17 is the most useful chapter because it contains specific examples of citations. It is organized both by format of the source, books, articles, and everything else, and by each element in the order in which it appears in the citation: author, title, publisher, page number, etc. In my personal copy, I have a few post-its marking the sections that I use the most. Notice how the chapter level table of contents has much more detail compared to the book level table of contents, helping you to locate the example you need faster. Part 3, Style, is for all those who have not had an English writing course in a while, which I suspect is most of us. Skim it to know what it covers, and then when you want to know how to effectively use the semicolon, for example, go back and review that section. I strongly encourage you to read Chapter 25 on quotations. This chapter includes some good examples on how to work your research notes into the text of your paper. The SES Turabian Guide for Student Papers is an abridgment to the Turabian Style Manual, but does not replace it. You still will be expected to purchase your own copy of Turabian. It covers the most common formatting issues, including a section on citations. This guide also contains any SCS idiosyncrasies as it relates to Turabian. For instance, the list of abbreviations for the books of the Bible are taken from the SBL Handbook and not Turabian. You will find a copy of this guide on the SCS Writing Center webpage. Every Turabian paper will have the following basic formatting features: 1-inch margins, Times New Roman font, alignment, line spacing, a shape to the paragraphs, and page numbering. This is a sample paper formatted in the Turabian style. As you saw in the basic paper format table, a Turabian formatted paper has a consistent look. For more information about formatting each type of page, see the SCS Turabian Guide to Student Papers. The title page is divided into thirds, with a text area for the title and another for student information. Each line of text is double-spaced, centered, and uses headline-style capitalization. If there is a subtitle, place it below the title. The title page counts as page 1 in the front matter, but it does not display the page number and is not listed in the table of contents. The table of contents, as part of the front matter, displays page number 2 using Roman numerals. The headings of the paper are double-spaced. Each level of heading is indented by 1/2 inches. The corresponding page numbers are right justified with dot leader lines. Every page of the paper has a 1-inch margin on all sides. The body of the paper is numbered using Arabic numerals starting at page 1. The standard paragraph, style normal, has an indented first line, is double-spaced, Times New Roman 12-point font, and is left justified, which means the right side of the paragraph has a ragged edge. The introduction is a first-level subheading. The first-level subheadings are centered, bold, with headline-style capitalization. In the Styles box, it is listed as heading 1. Second-level headings, a heading 2 style, are also centered headline-style capitalization, but are not bold. Another type of paragraph is the block quotation. A block quotation is 5 or more lines of a direct quote, and is indented by 1/2 inches on the left, single-spaced in the quote, with a double space before and after the quote. It is not bracketed by quotation marks. Footnotes are located at the bottom of the page. A 2-inch left justified line inserted by the word processing program, called a footnote separator, provides a visual break between the text and the note. Footnotes are indented by 1/2 inches, single-spaced, 10-point font, and have a single blank line between the entries. The bibliography starts on a new page after the page's conclusion. Entries in the bibliography are alphabetized by author and then by title if there is more than one work by the same author. For repeated authors, use a 3M dash or 6 hyphens in place of repeating the author's name. Each entry has a hanging indent, is single-spaced, and there is a blank line between entries. If you have a long URL that does not naturally break at the end of a line, you can insert a no-width optional break before a punctuation mark. If the entry cannot be included in its entirety at the bottom of the page, move it to the next page. The SCS Writing Center webpage has several documents and templates that you can download, including the SES Turabian Guide for Student Papers, the Turabian Paper Template, and the Guide to Microsoft Word, which was created to help students use the template and properly format their research papers. The next section of this presentation will demonstrate the use of the template when writing a paper. Once you have located the template, select Download. When you right-click on the template title in the folder, you have the option to open the template itself. You will want to do this to add your name to the title page. Any changes you make to the template are reflected in every copy that is created from that template. The other option when you right-click on the template title is to select New. This opens a copy of the template. The title of the document at the top of the word processor screen should be Document 1. You will need to save and name your new document. Before you start to type in your document, click on the Show Hide icon to see the formatting of the paper. While the markings can be initially distracting, you are less likely to accidentally delete something important, like a paragraph or section break. On the title page, add the title and subtitle of your paper, the course name and number, and use the calendar feature to select the due date. Next, the outline you developed for the paper can be used as the headings for your paper. This will also help build the table of contents. Cut and paste the headings from your outline into the body of the paper and assign the corresponding heading level from the Styles area. This will ensure that your headings are properly formatted, match the correct level of your outline, and are included in the table of contents. You will see that the heading 1s are centered, bold, and headline style. The heading 2s are centered, but not bold, and the heading 3s are left justified and italicized. To update the table of contents, click on the table text area so that it turns gray. Use the right mouse click and select Update Table. You can see that the table of contents now resembles the outline I showed you for the paper. The standard paragraph for your paper uses the normal style. This automatically double spaces and indents each paragraph by 1/2 inch. When you have a quote that needs to be formatted as a block quote, you need to separate the quote into its own paragraph. And from the Styles area, select the block quote style. This will single space the paragraph, indent it by 1/2 inch, and put a blank space above and below the quote. As you continue to add content to your paper, you can track the progress by updating the table of contents. When you update the table of contents, you have 2 options. 1. Update page numbers only, works when you have not changed the headings. 2. If you have changed the wording or capitalization of the headings in any way, select Update Entire Table. You should never type in the table of contents itself. This will delete the coding used to construct it. If you need to change the wording on the table of contents, change the headings themselves in the body of the paper. In this video, we have talked about the importance of the Turabian manual and its abridgment, reviewed the look of a Turabian formatted paper, and demonstrated the use of the template. In the next video, we will describe the creation of the bibliography and footnotes, and demonstrate how they are added to your paper using the template.